Long ago, there was a world in which people there were split up into various different villages. Peace was always trying to be found, but peace would not always stay. There was a boy who by lived in his own village was seen as a monster, ignored, neglected, and went through hell because of a demon fox within him. This boy grew up to save his village, eventually becoming the leader of that village known as the Hokage. On this journey, he befriended someone who was deemed as a monster, deemed as a demon. Naruto Uzumaki befriended what people know as the nine-tailed fox. The fox that once tried to kill him and even killed his parents was now friends with the boy who was forced to keep him captive. Until one day, Naruto's true colors showed when he decided to take on a new form that was said to lead him to his grave. The nine-tailed fox told him that if he uses this form to protect the ones he loves, he will die. After using the form, he didn't die. But the nine-tailed fox, other known as Kurama, told him that he would be the one who died in this. Naruto pleaded for him to stay, but Kurama began fading into smoke. As this happened, Kurama was brought back, awakening into another vessel. But even Kurama knew that this world was not his own. He was brought back to life, but was sent into a brand new universe. In this world, 80% of the population had a superpower known as a quirk. But Kurama wasn't exactly a quirk, but he was placed within someone who doesn't even have a quirk. That boy's name was Izuku Midoriya, and he is now the new Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Mom, I can't wait to see what my amazing quirk is. Yes, honey, come on, let's go. They head to the doctors, and when they arrive, they are greeted by the quirk doctor. Welcome. I assume you are here to get to know your little one's quirk. Yes, are you ready, Izuku? Yeah! The doctor brings Izuku into the other room, and they begin doing tests. The doctor then realizes that this kid, he's quirkless. They walk out, and the doctor breaks the news. I'm sorry, but Izuku is quirkless. Izuku breaks down in tears, and his mom thanks the doctor, and they leave. They arrive home, and Inko tells Izuku that it's okay, and she will make his favorite food for him. Okay, Mom, but I'm just gonna go to my room. Izuku walks to his room with his head down in sadness. He sits down on his bed with his legs crossed and continues to cry. I just want to be a hero. As he says this, a creature appears on his lap, looking like a baby reddish-orangish fox with 9 tails. Izuku is slightly startled, but the fox jumps on him, but then disappears back into his body. Huh? What was that? A voice then begins speaking in his head, sounding very similar to a kid of his age. Are you the fox I just saw? The fox tells Izuku that his name is Kurama, and he is currently living within his body. Whoa, you're my quirk? The fox explains the story of how he got there, and that he technically isn't a quirk, but he will teach him how to use its powers. Kurama then explains that as Izuku grows up, he will rapidly grow up as well, and basically gaining more and more of his full strength. Whoa, so we are going to be powerful? Kurama thinks to himself that this kid reminds him of a lot of Naruto. Kurama explains to Izuku that they will need to work hard to control his power, and that when overran with emotion, his power can get out of hand. I will do my best, I promise. Kurama tells him that he believes him, and that when he is older, they will begin training in something called chakra. Izuku agrees, and Kurama says to keep him a secret for now. But when he is older, he can tell his mom and whoever else that his quirk is something called chakra. Okay, but why? Kurama just says that it's basically is the best way to go about it. Even because he even knows people have a tendency of turning on others when they know someone has a demon fox within them. Izuku says that he will keep the secret, and for years he continued to get bullied, but Kurama would heal his wounds very quickly, so the beatings weren't so bad. When Izuku turned 8, Kurama spoke to him.
You know, kid, I'm very proud of you. Never getting angry about being bullied and always keeping that smile on your face.
You got it. I want to be just like All Might, so there's no room for me to be gloomy.
Well, that's good to hear. Now I think you're ready to begin training.
From the age of 8 to 14, Izuku would train, telling his mom that he would just basically go to the park. Kurama began teaching Izuku what chakra is and how to use it, starting with the basics of climbing a tree and water walking. Kurama was very surprised that Izuku, someone with no experience, learned how to do all of this very quickly. When he turned about 10 years old, he began his real training. Kurama basically helped him create a kunai that is made from a red type of chakra, allowing him to practice with it without actually using something like a real knife that would get him into trouble. Izuku learns martial arts to the extent that Kurama knows, and eventually he began learning other techniques and began learning more and more hand signs. By the time he was 13, he knew multi-shadow clone jutsu, an imperfect Rasengan, and how to enter the one-tailed cloak without actually going crazy. Kurama tells him that the more he trains, the better he will be able to control his power, but for now, this is the limit to what he can use without losing control of himself.
But kid, there is one more thing I would like you to learn.
What is that, Kurama?
It's going to be difficult, because I was just a bystander while watching my original host learn it, but it's something called Sage Mode.
Sage Mode?
Yes, it allows you to bend nature energy and combine it with your chakra, and eventually it will combine with my chakra as well. But just realize that during this training, keeping your humanity is very difficult.
How so?
Well, if you let the nature energy overtake you, you could become a toad forever.
Midoriya is shocked but agrees to give it his best shot. Kurama tells him that for the next 2 years, they will ease him into learning it and hopefully he'll have it mastered, allowing him to basically avoid going over the one-tailed cloak form, if the power is, well, truly needed. Midoriya agrees and asks if combining the two powers is a good idea, and Kurama tells him that's a conversation for another day. The 2 years pass, and Midoriya has a good grasp on how to use Sage Mode, and during this training, Kurama would constantly, slap him using a chakra tail when he would turn into a toad, when he was about to turn into a toad. The day then finally came and his teacher announced the end of middle school.
Hello class, I'm sure you all are very excited about the end of this year. I was going to hand out career aptitude tests, but I know all of you want to go the hero route.
Everyone begins celebrating and using their quirks.
Okay, calm down. We even have 2 students trying for UA. Bakugo and Midoriya.
Bakugo stands on his desk and says that he is the best and he'll be the #1 hero, but then he realizes that the teacher also said Midoriya.
What the hell, Deku? I told you to give up on being a hero.
Midoriya continues to ignore him and just starts talking with Kurama in his head. Bakugo blasts Midoriya's desk.
Don't ignore me, Deku.
Midoriya looks up but doesn't even respond. Bakugo scoffs and just sits down at the teacher's request. The rest of the class goes normally, but finally they are let out. Midoriya is grabbing his notebook and is about to leave, but he is stopped by Bakugo and his goons.
Where you think you're going, Deku? I'm not letting you go anywhere. Come on, Kachan, let me go home.
Don't call me that, you damn nerd. Bakugo tries to punch him, but Midoriya dodges under his arm and begins walking past him. But his goons stop him at the door. What, so you think you're cool because you know some martial arts? How about you just jump out that window and die? Kid?
Yes, Kurama?
Just jump out the window.
Oh, okay. Midoriya walks basically to the window and leaves. Bakugo looks, but Midoriya is already gone, and they stand there very confused. Sometimes I forget that I'm actually not affected by falls like that.
Yeah, I can tell, kid.
Midoriya basically continues walking home, but goes the long way because he's writing something in his journal. He walks under a bridge until out of nowhere a villain comes out of the sewer.
Kid, I need your body. I didn't know he was here.
Midoriya stares at the sludge villain as it charges at him, but before it can get to him, he stops in its tracks.
What the hell is that?
The sludge villain begins to tremble in fear at the sight of Kurama's aura behind Midoriya.
Rasengan!
Midoriya uses an imperfect Rasengan and it spins the sludge villain like crazy, leading to it exploding. A little further away, All Might is actually currently watching and runs over.
Did you do this, kid?
Oh yeah, the villain attacked me, so...
Impressive! Truly impressive! Are you considering going to UA?
Actually, I am. I will be going to the entrance exam in, what, 10 months?
How about this, kid? I want you to enter on my recommendation.
Whoa, are you serious, All Might? That would be amazing.
It's my pleasure, kid. I know you will be a great addition to UA.
Midoriya then helps All Might clean up the mess, and he gives Midoriya his number and heads off.
Kurama, did you see that? All Might is going to let me in on recommendation.
Kid, I'm in your body. Of course I saw that. But yes, I'm proud of you.
We did it, Kurama. Midoriya finally gets home and tells his mom that he met All Might and he's recommending him for UA.
That's great, honey, even without a quirk.
Oh, about that. Both Kurama and Midoriya then think to themselves that they forgot to tell her. I actually have a quirk. It awakened when I was 14. I just didn't tell anybody about it. Inko gets mad, flicking him in the head, but she then tells him that it's okay, as long as he has a quirk. His phone buzzes and Midoriya looks to see that it's All Might. All Might explains that he put in his recommendation and that he will begin school about 10 months from now, and to train hard because UA is not the only thing he is trying to achieve. Midoriya thanks him, and for the next 10 months, Midoriya trains his Sage Mode, perfecting his Rasengan, and learning various other techniques that will allow him to enhance his skills in battle, and actually began trying to learn a couple of his own, and creating a couple of his own. The 10 months pass, and it's finally time for Midoriya's first day at UA. He arrives very early. Only one person actually is there before him, and it's this blue-haired kid.
Hello, I'm Tenya Ida. Nice to meet you.
Oh, Zuko Midoriya, it's nice to meet you as well.
Oh, you must be a recommended student.
Yeah, I did get recommended. Midoriya sits down and Tenya continues to ask questions until he's finally asked who recommended him. Oh, All Might did. Tenya is shocked and says that he must be impressive if All Might recommended him. Midoriya smiles and says thank you. The rest of the class begins to basically enter, and then Bakugo enters. Seeing Midoriya, he is pissed. He runs over and grabs his collar.
How did you get in here, you damn quirkless loser?
I got in on recommendation, but I'm actually not quirkless. Frankly, I never said I was either, just never denied it when you said it. Bakugo gets even more pissed and is about to use his quirk, but it doesn't work. He is then grabbed by a scarf.
Enough. Sit down or I'll expel you.
Bakugo sits down, and the person introduces himself.
I am Shotai Zawa, your teacher for the next 3 years. Now I want all of you to introduce yourselves.
Everyone does so, and it's now Izuku's turn. Hello, I'm Izuku Midoriya, and my quirk is called Chakra. Most of the class asks what does it do, and he basically says that it does too many things to count. But it's basically human energy within the body that can be used to create blasts or allow me to do different things a normal human couldn't. He sits down and Aizawa tells everyone to meet him outside for a test. They all kind of sigh, but they all head out. They all go outside and he basically explains that he will be testing their quirks. He throws the ball to Bakugo and tells him to throw it. He does so while yelling "die," and Aizawa shows that he threw the ball 900 meters.
Yeah, better than all you extras.
Now Midoriya, you're up. Midoriya was currently meditating, walks up. Aizawa asks why he was doing that and what's up with his eyes, and he says that it's a little trick he learned a while back. Midoriya channels a small Rasengan over the ball and launches it.
Wow, impressive. 1,500 meters.
Bakugo is enraged and charges at Midoriya, about to explode him, but Aizawa actually doesn't stop him. Midoriya throws a punch, but Bakugo dodges, but the energy around Midoriya still hits him, sending him flying. Aizawa slightly smirks, knowing that this kid is the real deal. The rest of the quirk test goes on, and Izuku ends up getting first, very easily actually, and Aizawa tells the class that they are dismissed and to leave now. While Izuku is walking about, someone actually approaches him. She introduces herself as Momo Yaoyorozu, and that she is also a fellow recommended student, so they should befriend each other. Yeah, sure, take my number. They exchange numbers and Midoriya leaves. Kurama makes fun of him, saying that his heartbeat went up a little bit when talking to her, and Midoriya tells him that it's nothing like that. The next day he heads into class and Aizawa greets the class.
Today is going to be a little different. You all will be having a different teacher, and he should be here soon.
The door swings open and it's followed by All Might.
I am here, walking through the door like a normal person.
Midoriya smiles and the whole class says All Might. He tells everyone to basically get on their hero costumes and meet him at Ground Gamma. Midoriya goes and gets changed, and he is wearing something very similar to the outfit Naruto wears against pain, but including a nice metal mask. He quickly changes and walks to Ground Gamma.
Hello, young Midoriya.
Hey All Might, how have you been?
I've been well. I saw how well you did in the quirk assessment. It's very impressive.
Thanks, All Might. The rest of the class arrives, and All Might explains what is going to happen.
Today, we will be doing combat training. It is going to be 2 versus 2 battles. Choose your teams, and then you can choose your opponents.
Midoriya looks around, not sure actually who to choose, but Momo runs up to him asking basically to be on his team. He says sure, not really knowing anyone else, and All Might says to pick your opponents.
Bakugo and Kirishima, you choose first.
We want the nerd and that girl who creates things.
Bakugo walks out to the city and Kirishima apologizes for his rudeness. Midoriya smiles, but Momo is actually pretty worried about how they will win, and Midoriya tells her that she can come up with a plan and it should be easy enough. She nods and they walk out. All Might gives both teams time to strategize, but Bakugo just says he's going to kill them, and Momo comes up with a plan to beat them both. Kurama chimes in and says that they don't really need a plan, but Midoriya tells them it's fine. All Might then begins counting down.
3, 2, 1, begin!
The fight starts with Momo creating 2 pairs of handcuffs, while Midoriya stands guard as both Bakugo and Kirishima charge at them. Bakugo blasts at Midoriya, and when he blocks him, punching him away. He grabs Kirishima, and Momo throws cuffs on him. Bakugo comes back charging. Do you really think measly cuffs will win this fight? It's not a damn arrest, you damn nerd. Momo is able to put cuffs on Bakugo as well, and Midoriya kicks him back. Kirishima and Bakugo look at each other and just break the cuffs. What was the point of that? You really are just a nerd. As they break the cuffs, two shadow clones emerge, both in the one-tailed cloak state, and they punch Bakugo and Kirishima together, hitting each other, knocking each other out. Now that wasn't a bad idea at all. Momo runs up saying that if she didn't know about his powers and how it worked, it wouldn't have been that easy, and he agrees, but he knows that he would have most likely basically have won without an elaborate setup like that.
Yayarozu and Midoriya win.
They both take Bakugo and Kirishima back to where the class is, and All Might congratulates them on a well-executed plan. The rest of the battles occur, and everyone is dismissed from class. Midoriya heads home, but is stopped before he can actually leave. Momo stops him and asks about his quirk because she didn't know about this red-tailed cloak thing he had on. Oh, yeah, it's just part of my quirk, like it's basically a power-up. She looks at him very unconvinced.
You know, kid, you can just tell her. People are bound to find out anyways.
Okay. Just come walk with me, yeah? They both walk, and Midoriya explains that his quirk isn't so clear-cut. And frankly, it's not even a quirk. Yeah, so my so-called quirk is basically this monster that lives inside me. A red tail slaps him on the head, and Kurama says that he isn't a monster and that he's a demon fox. What was that? It was Kurama. He got mad because I called him a monster. He's more of a demon fox. But even with that name, he is very friendly. Momo is in shock and asks if he's ever come out, and has he ever seen him? No, I don't know if he can even come out now. I mean, he came out when I was like 4 years old, but he was just a baby fox at that time. You should have saw him. He was so... Midoriya's cut off by a tail hitting him again, and Momo laughs. Well, yeah, that's where my power comes from, but you can't tell anyone about this, okay? She promises that she won't, and they both go their separate ways. When he arrives home, his mom greets him, and Kurama tells him to tell his mother the truth as well. He does so, and she kind of freaks out, but then finally relaxes. She tells him it's fine, but no more secrets. Midoriya agrees, and he does his work and heads to bed. The next morning, he arrives at school, and Aizawa greets them all.
Alright, today you will all be going to the USJ. You don't get any ideas. This isn't some sort of field trip. It's for rescue training, and now everyone get aboard on the bus.
The class leaves, basically to the bus, and everyone begins talking on their way to the USJ. Everyone begins talking about who they believe is the strongest and who has the strongest quirk. Some argue for Midoriya and others argue for Todoroki, but the debate ends when they arrive, and Aizawa tells the class to shut up. Midoriya walks off the bus and begins feeling something. That something's off.
Kid, I know you felt that. Someone is coming.
Yeah, definitely, but what is it? They walk into the USJ, and when they arrive, Pro Hero 13 is there to greet them. She tells the class that today they will be doing rescue training, and they have various different environments to basically simulate that. As she finishes up, Kirishima asks how much did it cost for the fake villains. She turns confused, and Aizawa tells her to protect the kids. And then down with the villains.
Kurogiri, you know what to do.
Yes, young master.
Everyone then gets covered by a warp portal and sent away. But when Midoriya is sent away, he is teleported to a very dark room. Kurama, where are we?
All I know is that you aren't on school grounds anymore.
A voice in the darkness then begins to speak.
Welcome, young Midoriya. It's truly a pleasure to meet you.
A man with a black mask approaches him.
Who are you? I am All for One, and I need you to help me with something.
Now, why would I do that? A screen drops from the ceiling, showing Inko strapped to a chair with tape over her mouth.
Now you will listen to my demands, or your mother dies.
Midoriya begins to fill with rage, but Kurama tells him that attempting to kill him will just lead to his mother's death and he needs to stay calm.
What do you want from me? Glad you came around. I need you to kill All Might.
All Might? I can't kill All Might.
Don't play dumb with me, kid. I know you can, especially with the help of the Nomu that I just sent to the USJ. How about this? You injure him enough, or kill him, and then come back to me.
So if I kill All Might, or hurt him bad enough, you'll let my mother go?
Precisely. But you know what that means. You'll be turned into a vigilante at best. Now, should I send you back?
Midoriya sighs and just nods.
Kurama, I think I just made a deal with the devil. It's okay, kid. We'll figure this out. Just follow my lead.
Midoriya is teleported back to the battlefield next to Shigaraki.
Welcome back, Midoriya.
Shut up. I don't need to talk to you. I got one job.
Yeah. Go kill All Might with that Nomu.
All Might stands on top of the staircase and charges at the Nomu. As their fists collide, Midoriya punches All Might into the wall.
Young Midoriya, what are you doing?
Sorry, All Might, but this has to be done. Midoriya enters Sage Mode combined with his one-tailed cloak state. They begin fighting and the Nomu punches All Might every time Midoriya continues to engage, until All Might musters all his strength, launching the Nomu out of the USJ, with just Midoriya now left. Midoriya kicks All Might into the wall, creating a massive dust cloud.
Listen, All Might, we don't have time. You need to act hurt, and badly hurt, as the heroes arrive. Don't question it.
Midoriya strikes All Might, but Kurama gives All Might some of his chakra, actually healing him instead of hurting him. Izuku throws All Might out, and he acts as if he's unconscious. Midoriya walks out limping.
There, I did it. Now get me out of here before the heroes come.
As Midoriya says this, he gets shot in the leg, and so does Shigaraki in his arm, in both of his arms and both of his legs. They are teleported away, and the three of them are in the League of Villains base. The Class 1A looks on in shock, as it seems that All Might was defeated by Midoriya, and that he turned to the side of the League. Kurama heals the wounds of Midoriya, and he hobbles back to his feet. Midoriya touches Shigaraki, and he begins to slowly heal.
You're welcome. And tell All for One it's time to let my mother go.
The screen falls down, and it shows Inko being moved back into her home, and All for One even left a check for her to move out of the country.
Now you see, kid, I'm not so bad. I even gave your mother the means to leave Japan. I recommend that happens. And for you, have fun being a wanted criminal. Because, just like us, your actions will be misunderstood by this corrupt society.
Midoriya acts pissed and leaves the building and heads home. He walks in and hugs his mom.
You need to leave, Mom. Leave the country.
What are you talking about? I can't do that. Midoriya shows her the check and tells her that she needs to leave for her own safety. She asks what will happen with him, and as she says this, a news broadcast comes on, saying that Izuku Midoriya is now wanted as the newest League of Villains member. You need to go, Mom. This isn't what it seems like, and I need to fix it. She is in shock, but reluctantly agrees and leaves.
So what now, Kurama? Well, kid, you need to take what you can, and we need to find a place where the police won't find you.
Yeah, agreed. Midoriya grabs what he can and leaves right before the tons of cop cars show up at his house. He leaves and searches for a spot outside the city, and he enters a forest. When he enters, he finds a small broken down house. He knocks on the door, wondering if anyone was actually living in this rundown place. Nobody answers, but as he goes to open the door, a man busts out of the door, kicking Midoriya. "What the hell are you doing here?" "I'm just looking for a place to stay." "I know you are. And if you think I would shelter someone who betrayed future heroes at his own school, you got this all wrong." "Please, you got it wrong. If you just let me explain, you'll understand why I did it." Stain refuses to listen and charges at Midoriya. He blocks the attack, but then he is cut and Stain licks his blood. "Damn, I can't move." "Of course you can't. That's my quirk." "Well, kid, time to die." Stain is about to stab Midoriya in the chest, but his eyes go red and Stain falls back in fear. "What? Why can't I move?" Midoriya stands up. "I didn't want to do that, Stain, but I need to tell you what happened. And if you decide that you still want to kill me, then so be it." Midoriya explains the whole situation, that he was teleported to All For One, in which he threatened to kill his mother, and that even with this form, there was no guarantee that All For One would meet his end. It took Midoriya weeks, but the link into Kurama mode was finally done, and he can now basically enter the Tailed Beast mode, but it just couldn't go full Tailed Beast transformation just yet. "You know, kid, I'm proud of your progress. You have done a lot, and I know you are ready to beat All For One." Stain then returns once again and tells Midoriya that he infiltrated the League of Villains, and that if he wants to kill Shigaraki, it's now the time. Midoriya agrees and shakes Stain's hand. "I hope you're ready, kid, because I'm not gonna save you if things go south." Yeah, let's just get this done." The next day, Stain and Midoriya enter the League of Villains base. "Oh, Midoriya, you finally changed your mind." "Yeah, I did. I think it's time that this society burns to the ground, and we create a new one." Stain and Midoriya walk in as the television begins talking. "I'm glad to see you here, Midoriya. Back with your people. Us monsters need each other." "Yeah, agreed. But to be fair, you put me in a favorable situation for yourself." Yes, very true, but now you truly understand, my child." Midoriya nods and Shigaraki shows him his living quarters. "It's not perfect, but should be good enough." Yeah, thanks, I guess." Midoriya puts all his stuff down and begins talking about thinking about what his plans should be until Stain enters the room. "Come on, kid. You're gonna help me patrol around for some fake heroes. Get your kunai and your cloak." Midoriya grabs his kunai and throws on his cloak. "Okay, let's go." They head out and begin talking. "You know, kid, you joining the League, even if it's to reach your ultimate goal of keeping your mother safe, will put you on the heroes' radar." "Yeah, I know. And I don't even think what I did can save me now." "Yeah, what you're about to do is gonna be seen as not very heroic. Well, I mean, at least in the eyes of the public." "Doesn't matter. All that matters to me is my mother's safety. That's it." "You know, kid, you definitely are making me think long and hard about what a true hero really is." They both continue to talk and basically say they need to wait for the perfect time to strike and to end both Shigaraki and All For One. Because if they killed Shigaraki now, then killing All For One would become a lot harder. They finish up their fake patrol and they head back to the League of Villains base. "Perfect. You two are finally here. We need to talk about some new recruits and also something else that is going down." Shigaraki explains that they want to kidnap a boy by the name of Katsuki Bakugo, and that he has the makings of a real asset, and that their class is currently going to this isolated forest lodge as they speak. Okay,
So what do you want us to do?
Well, we are going to capture him, and I just need you, Midoriya, to create a distraction. Kill your old classmates, injure them, I don't really care. We just need time to get Bakugo out and bring him back here.
Okay, when do we go? 3 people, being Dabi, Toga, and Spinner, walk through saying that they go tonight.
Yes, precisely. Kurogiri will warp you all there, and a couple of our other good friends will meet us there as well.
Sounds good to me. I'm gonna go lay down until then. Midoriya walks by, but Toga stops him, saying that, oh, he's really cute, and she wants some of his blood. Well, too bad I don't bleed. He grabs her knife and cuts himself, but it heals after just 2 seconds. He walks into his room and lays down.
How you feeling, kid?
Like shit, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Yes, I'm sorry it couldn't be different for you.
What do you mean?
My last host dealt with his whole village hating him. Obviously this is a different situation, but still forced you to do something and go through something you didn't want to because of me.
It's fine, Kurama. I would be weak without you, so to me, you're still a blessing. Midoriya sleeps for a bit, waiting for the knock on his door. The knock then comes, and he heads out to the front of the bar. Kurogiri teleports everyone, and Midoriya is told to head to the middle of the forest, where a lot of students would be. He heads over in his one-tailed cloak form, refusing to show anyone his 9 tails chakra form before being able to use it on All for One. He hangs out in a tree as Dabi lights the whole forest on fire. The students in the forest begin to panic and try to figure out what they should do. Kendo and Tetsu then run by Midoriya, but Midoriya drops down on them. They stare in shock, knowing that he is the one who apparently beat All Might. Now where do you think you're going? Midoriya swiftly knocks them both out and drags them both to the front of the camp, the camp facing the forest. He throws them both toward the other students, and the majority of them being Class 1A. They basically ask him why is he doing this, but he just turns around and heads back into the forest as Spinner fights everyone. He walks back into the forest using chakra to cover his face from the gas. He spots more and more students and he approaches them. Some of them being from Class 1B and also Momo Yaoyorozu. He approaches them and they all have their guards up.
Kid, you know what to do.
Midoriya charges at them, knocking them all out except for Momo. She stands there in complete shock, and Midoriya whispers something in her ear and she drops something into his pocket. He knocks her out as well, and he drags them all using a bunch of chakra arms. He throws them at the class and begins walking away, knowing that they captured Bakugo. And for you, Eraserhead, don't think about coming for me. I don't want to have to kill you as well. Midoriya leaves and the class stands there in shock and basically just completely shocked at what occurred. Midoriya is transported back to the League of Villains base, and as he watches as they chain up Bakugo and put him in a chair, they all wait until he finally wakes up.
What the hell is a bunch of you extras doing? It's pretty simple, Bakugo. I want you to join us. People like us are misunderstood, and
Bakugo cuts him off, saying that he won't turn sides like this weak-minded extra Midoriya, and that when they let him go, he's gonna kill them all. Midoriya steps in front of Bakugo, and a figure appears behind him of Kurama, and it scares not only Bakugo, but everyone in the room. You better cooperate, Katsuki, or I'll cut you limb to limb. Bakugo agrees to finally listen, and Midoriya reaches in his pocket. He pulls out a tracker. We have to move. I was tagged and didn't realize. Midoriya destroys the tracker, but as he does, tons of pro heroes bust in. He gets kicked in the head and pretends to be knocked out. They all are sent through a portal and arrive in the middle of the city. The League of Villains currently surrounding Bakugo. Midoriya acts like he just woke up and sees All for One about to face off with All Might.
Midoriya stands next to All For One, and All Might looks on in shock.
You don't have to do this, young Midoriya. You will throw everything away.
I don't care, All Might. I'll do what I must.
Please, young Midoriya. You could still be a hero.
Midoriya changes into his Nine Tails chakra form, shocking everyone around. I know, All Might. That's why. Midoriya punches All For One so hard that he goes flying at the ground. Midoriya smiles toward All Might, and All Might launches at All For One, being almost at the peak of his power. Midoriya uses his shadow clones to defeat the entirety of the League of Villains, making sure Shigaraki is out cold and can't go anywhere. Izuku, while staring down with All Might, realized that with everybody here, he could capture both All For One and Shigaraki, without resorting to killing them. The League was then captured and put into cuffs and sent off to prison. Midoriya's shadow clones disappear, and he walks over to the police, where they have cuffs for him. Aizawa runs over, saying that this is ridiculous and that he is just a kid and he just saved them all. Don't worry, Aizawa-sensei. Just put in a good word and maybe I'll be out soon. Midoriya is cuffed and smiles to All Might and Aizawa.
You know, this is just my job, kid. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even be taking you in.
It's okay, officer. I understand. And hopefully I'm given another chance anyways. The officer smiles, knowing that this kid didn't truly do anything wrong, and he tells him that he will put in a good word as well. They arrive, and Midoriya is kept in a cell that, obviously he could easily break out of, but knows that it's just best to wait. After about a week, Nezu and Aizawa enter the station he is actually being held at.
Midoriya, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Most of the officers are very nice to me, and I got someone to talk to, so it's all good. They tell him that what he did was very risky, but they now know why he did it.
We talked to your mother, kid. She is safe, but is worried that you are here.
Yeah, so is there any way I can get out of here? Nezu then speaks up. Actually, there's 2 ways for you to get out.
Huh? 2 ways? What are those? Well, kid, the first option is you come back to UA and train to be a hero, which in my opinion you're already ready to be a pro, but that's obviously not my choice. The other option is we let you go to the US, you start a life over again with your mother, and you go to a hero school over there if they let you.
Midoriya looks down and begins to think. Yeah, I think I'm ready to get out of here. He is released, and they all head over to UA, in which all the students basically all moved into dorms, and they all meet Midoriya outside and greet him back. Thank you all for welcoming me back like this, but I won't be here very long. The class asks what is he talking about, and he explains. I'm just here to say my goodbyes. I'm moving out of Japan and I'm going to America, where my mother is currently staying. Not sure where this will take me, but I want to be able to protect my mother if need be. Midoriya then looks at Aizawa. Also, if you ever need me, at the end of the day I'm only 1 call away. I hope all of you will be amazing heroes. The class is shocked, but they all understand the decision. Midoriya says his goodbyes, and a car picks him up to take him to the airport. Midoriya flies all the way to America, and when he gets there, he is not only greeted by his mother, but also by other people, which seem to be other pro heroes. You know I'm not a danger to anyone, right? They tell him that isn't why they are here. He is handed a letter, and then they immediately leave. He hugs his mother, and they head to the home that she is currently living in. They talk for a bit, and he asks how America has been treating her, and she tells him that it's been amazing over here. I'm glad to hear that, Mom. So, are you going to open that letter? Oh, yeah, maybe I should. Midoriya opens it, and his eyes grow wide. What does it say, Izuku? It says, we would like to invite you to an after-school work study in which you will go to a regular non-hero school, but you will work with a hero agency. And the hero agency that is inviting you to this work study is the #1 hero, Stars and Stripes. Inko begins celebrating, and Kurama even congratulates Midoriya. Midoriya begins to tear up and cry, and his mom hugs him. I didn't think I was going to be a hero when I was sent to jail, but this is more than what I deserve. Inko tells him to not think like that, and says that he did what he did for the sake of his own mother, and he is the farthest thing from a villain. Midoriya wipes his tears and smiles. The next day he goes to regular school and finishes around 2 p.m. and then heads over to the agency. When he arrives, he is greeted by a tall woman. He smiles, and Midoriya knows this is where his real hero journey truly begins.